Hi there, this is MRJJA from the MRJJA Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and today we're going to cover for MNMMANEWS.com the ground and pound from the mount. So of course we're just going to give you a brief overview and a couple of basic techniques and concepts. This is my assistant instructor Dan Lacko. So the first thing we're going to have to understand here from the mount is that if I start throwing a lot of punches, he's not going to be just sitting there and taking them. He's going to be moving his hips. So I might find myself in a position, start moving my hips. When I'm striking, not only am I off balance, I might lose the base because I'm going too hard at it, but also I'm going to hit the ground a lot of times. A lot of those punches will be slipped or deflected by his hands. So don't waste a lot of energy. It's very common to see, especially in amateur MMA, the top fighter gets such a dominant position and then he starts hitting so hard that he ends up either bumped or, even worse, he gets so tired he has absolutely no power. Once this guy starts letting the punches come through, they don't do any damage whatsoever because you're gone. Your arms are shot, you have nothing else. So what we want to do here is always make sure that it's better to deliver 1 to 3 good ones than 1,000 strikes that don't land. How can I manage to get that head in a position where I'm safe to strike and that head is not going to be moving a whole lot? A couple of techniques that you can use, obviously a very basic one is to post on the neck. So I can post on the neck by placing my hand here, so pushing down on the neck, and then striking with my dominant hand. In this case, I'm left-handed. I could do it right-handed, person would do it otherwise, be it an elbow or a punch here, okay? The other thing I could do is, if it's legal, you can always grab the neck like that, So just simply grab. And the advantage of having those positions there is that I'm no longer visually aiming at the head. I can close my eyes and know exactly where my hand is. So I use that proprioception just to follow through with my punches. All I got to do is correct it a little, aim a little higher than that. Doesn't matter how fast he's moving, I'm not trying to visually follow that target and hit it. It's not a speedball. Right now, it's tactile and I can go in there and hit it hard. The other trick that we teach here a lot at our school is to isolate the arm, to pass that arm so we can trap the head. And we normally do that by starting with a few strikes just to get him to cover up. Once he starts covering up, I apply pressure on the wrist and that pops the elbow up. I go down with my chest here and I brush that arm to the center. Once I got to this position, I can go around and take control of the wrist and step up into a variation of the mount here, almost like a combat attack mount, S-mount, whatever you want to call it. Not quite, but a sideways mount. It doesn't matter what you call it as long as you know how to have it. This knee has to be a little bit more forward than usual, and this foot needs to be glued to his belly. You definitely don't want to do something like that because it's going to be easy for him to elbow escape with me in half guard, and I have to deal with this here. I'm also controlling the arm and pulling that arm, and the beauty of this here is that right now, he's not moving anywhere. The only position that he can move to is the back grab. He can turn over, and that's going to make life a lot worse for him. And the head is not moving anywhere, so it's very easy for me to deliver strikes with my right hand. Okay, so it's a very nice position to have. You start feeling like, oh, those strikes are being blocked. Go ahead and press on the wrist, pop the elbow up, bring your chest down, brush it to the side, take control of the wrist, and rain down the strikes. Those are some basic techniques you can use from the mount. Thank you for watching. You can check us out at www.mrjja.com or www.minnesota.mmmanews.com.